today we actually made some really good progress with Mr. Mash. I put him on my long line, which is only a 10-foot line, but it gave him the opportunity to have the theoretical freedom to roam away from me without tension being introduced between me and him by him reaching the end of a leash. We only did this indoors for a couple reasons. One, the weather wasn't cooperating and he showed a pretty strong aversion to walking around for too long in the rain today. And two, as you can see, it did unfortunately turn into a frozen moment. And that's kind of what I'm trying to work through today. I'm trying to figure out how long it's going to take for him to realize that I'm not even touching the leash. How long it's going to take for him to move away from this door that he has decided is the only thing he wants in this room. And what's going to motivate him to do that. I've tried some cookies. I've tried to show him a hand target as an indication that I want to provide him with some affection. I've tried opening the second door that we have in the room as a cue that he can exit through another option. But he has decided that this door is the highest motivator in this space right now. So he is telling me, he's communicating to me right now that that is the only thing he cares about, is when this door is going to open. This door, by the way, does lead out to the lobby, which also leads to the front door, which for him equals exiting. Now, earlier in the day, we were able to introduce a nice greeting exercise, and we did that by having people not acknowledge him. They did not look at him. They didn't make eye contact with him. They didn't talk to him. It was completely up to him if he wanted to go and approach them in the first place. We did this on the long line, indoors. And he was curious enough and interested enough to actually approach several different team members today and sniff them. And after he approached and sniffed, they would offer their hand to him. And if he touched their hand, they would give him less than 2 seconds of scritches before walking away. And then he could either come back to me or he could follow them as an indication that he wanted more scritches. Yeah, hi, bud. You want more scritches? I know there's stuff happening. Thank you for acknowledging my existence. So he did that really reliably for 4 team members. He would approach them, give them a sniff, they'd reach their hand out for him to hand target, and then they'd give him scratches once he successfully targeted that before walking away. And he pretty reliably came back to me for the first 4 rounds. On the 5th round, he approached a more familiar team member, one of our resort team members, Eva, actually took him outside for a walk. So she was more familiar to him and he was a little more enthusiastic about saying hi to her. He approached her, she offered her hand, he booped it, and then jumped on her. This occurred not in our treatment space where most of the other greetings had occurred, but in the lobby space. And so I think that the jump was an indication of anxiety. It was an attempt to gain control over someone that was familiar because he was experiencing anxiety about where he was and what it meant, and he wanted to try and exit. And so he was trying to use a familiar social opportunity in Eva, who he knew had taken him outside of the office previously. He was trying to communicate to her and control her and give her the motivation to take him away from the anxiety inducing space. That was also when I noticed this fear began. When she eventually stopped petting him and I tried to recall him back to me, I did not place any pressure on this leash, but suddenly the leash was scary again. And I, as a connector to the leash, as a connection of the leash, holding the other end, was also scary. So now here we are. He has decided that he does not want anything to do with me. But I'm going to show you what happens if I unclip the leash. I have been hesitating to do this because I don't want him to be practicing this frozen behavior, and then I reinforce that frozen behavior with the removal of the leash. But I want you to see what a change it makes in him to have the leash removed, okay? All right, Mash Man, I'm going to come over and say hi. Okay, ready? suddenly he's moving. He gives a full body shake, his tail starts wagging, he's excited to say hi to me, he's sniffing out treats, he's exploring the room. So this tether thing, this tether anxiety, I'm not sure why it's such a problem for him. I can't really put the pieces together. But look how ready he is to say hi and interact with me now. I am no longer scary. I am no longer a source of anxiety. I am something to be sought out. Yes, and given kisses. Yes, and worked with. Yeah. So, a couple tips for you when you have him on your retractable leash at home. I want you to look for those frozen moments, and I want you to look at how often he acknowledges you on the other end of the leash when you're walking together, no matter where it is that you're walking. If you're inside and you just leashed him up, what happens? Do you become invisible? Is he unwilling to respond to his